All right, we're here in the first quarter of the A junior high girls game. 1:49 left in the first. No score. We're having some technical difficulties. Sorry about that. Trying to get a new video board working tonight. Leah Thomas into Ainsley Gibson. Gibson gets fouled. Will go to the line for 2 free throws. Good on the first, and the first points of the game. I thought the Columbus Titans had scored earlier, but no, maybe they called a violation on that. Ainsley Gibson good on both free throws, and a 2-0 lead for the Cougars. Cougars in a zone press. Adeline Jones gets called for the foul on the sideline for a block. Over and back violation on the Titans. Ball back to the Cougars. Adeline Jones into the front court for the Cougars. Ball deflected. She's able to get it over to Leah Thomas. Thomas at the elbow back to Jones, and Jones takes a step before she gets the dribble down and gets called for the travel. 1:20 left on the official clock. Titans inbound. Diamond press set up by the Cougars. Titans still in the backcourt. Able to cross over. Ball to the key, number 33 for the Titans. Loses their feet and throws the ball away. Adeline Jones there going coast to coast. Too hard. Ainsley gets a big old push, and no foul called on that one. Foul called on the foul on the Cougars. See if we can take a look at that on replay. It looked like it was Ainsley's own player, Adeline Jones, that ran into her. Titans able to break the press. Shot off the rim and good for the Titans, and it's a 2-2 score. 30 seconds left in the first quarter. Lila Quaddy pass into the middle. Addison Pink comes in and ties them up. It's a jump ball. The Titans have the arrow, 15 seconds remaining in the first. Lila Quaddy gets the steal, goes up for the shot, and jump ball is called. Cougars ball underneath. 7 seconds left on the clock here in the first quarter. Leah Thomas inbounding, gets it into Quaddy. Into Gibson at the elbow. Back out to Thomas. 4 seconds remaining. Thomas draws the foul. And she'll go to the line to shoot 2. 2.5 on the official clock. Leah Thomas banks in the first free throw. Off the front red on the second. Gibson there for the rebound, can't bring it down. And at the buzzer, Columbus went to the ground for a travel, but that will do it for the first quarter. basket by the Titans. They take the lead 4-3. Schumacher up to Jones, all the way to the basket, off the glass, and in. Cougars retake the lead 5-4. Double zero to the basket, off the backboard. Fight for the rebound. Quaddy's on the ground. And out of play. Throw in to inbounds to the Cougars. Addie Schumacher bringing it up court and gets called for the travel. Quaddy picks double zero up. 4-5, that's Saporito. Rebound by Piper Hill. Shot taken by Saporito. Rebound again by the Titans. This time Jones pulls down the rebound. Jones all the way to the basket. High off the glass and in. And 2 more points for the Cougars. Timeout, Titans. First free throw is good. All right, sorry for those that are tuned in. Having a lot of technical difficulties tonight trying to get the new video board going and struggling to get that working. Having some hiccups on the laptop side. Number 5 is at the line for the Titans. That's Kip Saporito. Titans able to get the offensive rebound. Saporito all the way to the basket off the glass. Rebound again by the Titans. Throw up to the top. Piper Hill there to retrieve it. Addie Schumacher defending. Double team comes by Quaddy. Saporito back to Stanley. For dribble looking for an option. Finds Saporito down low. And she gets it in to tie the game at 7. Schumacher into the front court over to Prater on the right wing. She picks up her dribble looking for an option. Back to Schumacher. Over to Quaddy, and Quaddy gets going before she gets the dribble down, gets called for the travel. Piper Hill bringing it into the front court for the Titans, and she travels. Schumacher over to Prater on the right wing. Studer flashes to the elbow, back up top to Schumacher over to Quaddy. One more to Prater, she drives baseline. Gets cut off, looking for an option back up top. Through Quaddy's hands, Gibson saves it, and into the backcourt violation back to the Titans. Saporito with the ball for the Titans. Quaddy goes for the steal. Prater gets her hands in there to knock it away. Jump ball. And it's the Cougars' possession. Ball into Schumacher. Over to Prater on the right wing. Prater finds some space. Shot from 15. Rebound pulled down by number 31, Doherty. Saporito pulls up from 18 off the backboard. Long rebound goes to Schumacher. Addie Schumacher draws the foul on Saporito, and it's going to be inbound in the front court for the Cougars. Leah Thomas and Addison Pink in the game for the Cougars as Lila Quaddy and Sadie Studer check out. Schumacher with the ball at top, over to Prater. Prater on the left wing. Gets it back to Schumacher at the top. Over to Gibson. Gibson waiting for a cutter, back to Schumacher. Schumacher gets back to the loose ball. And 3 seconds in the lane called on Pink as she was just camping out in there. Ball back to the Titans. Saporito gets caught without an option and drags that back foot. Traveling called back to the Cougars. Schumacher into Prater. Prater picks up her dribble. Back to Schumacher. Over to Thomas. Thomas in from 10 feet off the rim and gets it to fall. And the Cougars retake the lead 9-7. Piper Hill with the ball. Trap coming at the mid-court line. Into the front court to Stanley. Stanley all the way to the basket. Well defended by Addison Pink. Rebound to Gibson. Gibson dribbling down the middle of the court. Picks up the dribble over to Thomas. Thomas in to Pink to Schumacher. Off the front of the rim, rebound to Hill into transition. Schumacher and Thomas. Thomas is able to poke it away. Back to Pink, Cougars out running. Prater picks up the dribble and shuffles the feet, gets called for the travel. Back to the Titans, 28 seconds on the clock. Cougars in the press. Hill picks up her dribble, still in the backcourt. Over to Omar. Saporito tries to enter it in. Pink is there to deflect, and jump ball, Titans ball. 17 seconds remaining. Ball underneath. Stanley takes the shot off the mark. Last touch by the Cougars. 11 seconds on the clock. Titans into Saporito. To Doherty at the elbow. Rebound pulled down by the Titans. Backside rebound again by Stanley. And one more by Omar. She gets fouled. We'll go to the line. 2 seconds on the clock. And she gets 2 free throws. First shot is good. 2.2 on the official clock. Second shot doesn't fall. Gibson there with the rebound. And that does it for the first half. Cougars with the 9-8 lead. We'll take a halftime break and see if we can get the video board working as we go into the second half. we are back ready for the third quarter to begin. Cougars leading 9-8. Sloppy first half. See if we can clean it up here and get some points on the board in the second half. Third quarter underway. Prater into Gibson. Quaddy on the right wing, all the way across to the near side for Prater. Prater back up top to Gibson. Thomas flashes into the paint, swing to the wing, gets stolen away by Hill. Good aggressive steal by Quaddy and Gibson to get it back. Gibson with the left-handed dribble, brings it up to Prater. Prater pulls it up from 15 back to Quaddy at the top. Quaddy thought about it, gets it to Thomas on the right side. Thomas trying to get baseline, enters into Gibson, and foul called on the shot. Gibson will go to the line to shoot two. Gibson off to the left on the first. Sub in the game for the Titans. Number 41 is Temperance Goff checking in the game. Number 33, Gracie Stanley checking out. Gibson off the glass on the second. Too strong, rebounded by the Titans. Saporito out on the run. Gibson cuts her off. Blocking foul. Let's see if it was on the shot. Ruled on the shot. Saporito will go to the line to shoot two. Off the back rim on the first. Good on the second, and it's a tie game. Cougars quickly inbound. Thomas gets it to Gibson. Back to Thomas at the top. And foul called on the Cougars for the trip. They're going to give that to Leah Thomas. Titans in. Shot made by number 43. That's Bella Box. Gibson over to Quaddy on the left wing. Back to Gibson. Gibson has a lane to drive to the basket, off the glass and in. Ainsley Gibson ties it back up at 11. Hill over to Saporito, inside to Goff. Box to Goff. And the ball lands out of play. It'll be a inbound for the Cougars. Gibson to Prater into the front court for Gibson. Thomas into the paint from 10 feet, and Leah Thomas nails it. Cougars back in the lead, 13-11. Hill gets away with a stumble. Number 23, Omar up ahead and knocked out of play by the Cougars. Timeout, Cougars. It'll be the Titans ball on the restart. 4:05 is the official time on the clock. Titans inbound. Quaddy gets the steal. Quaddy out on the break, tries to find Prater up ahead. Bella Box able to steal it. And foul called on Prater. Third foul of the quarter on the Cougars. Cougars pick up full court press. Thrown away to Prater. Prater from the free throw line. Rebound by Thomas. Thomas outlet to Quaddy, stolen away by 0-0 Hill. Hill all the way to the basket, off the glass, too strong, but draws the foul. And she'll go to the line to shoot two. Fourth team foul of the quarter on the Cougars. Piper Hill at the line. Good on the first, 1 point game. Sadie Studer and Adeline Jones checking back in for the Cougars. Gibson and Quaddy checking out. Off the front rim on the second. Double dribble called. Turnover back to the Cougars. Jones into the front court over to Prater. Into Thomas at the elbow. Thomas tries to split into the double. Gets it back to Jones. Jones with the horse collar gets the shot off and draws the foul. And Jones to the line for two. Jones makes the first. In and out on the second. Addison Pink gets a hand on it, but rebound secured by Omar. Saporito trying to get all the way to the basket, gives it to Omar. Backside pass to Bella Box, and she puts it off the glass to tie the game back at 14. Jones to Studer, back to Thomas, inside to Schumacher, over to Jones. Jones around the edge. Floater, can't get it to fall. Rebound pulled down by Goff. Hill up ahead, finds Omar, too strong off the glass. Addison Pink pulls down the rebound. Quick outlet to Schumacher. Schumacher, bad pass into Jones. Stolen back by Saporito from the Titans. Pink well defended, rebound pulled down by Jones. And the Cougars keep pushing. Jones over to Schumacher, ball deflected by Saporito. Into the corner and out of bounds, knocked off. Last touch by Bella Box. And it's a throw in for the Cougars in the corner. Leah Thomas there to take the inbound. Into Jones. Jones around the edge. Rebound goes to Studer. Studer trying to find an angle. Gets it off the glass and in. And a back and forth battle. Cougars retake the lead, 16-14. All over to Saporito. Good shot by number 41, Temperance Goff. And tied again at 16. Schumacher into the front court, gets it to Thomas at the wing. Across the court to Studer, who wants it from 15. Rebound pulled down by Box. Hill picks up her dribble, gets to Saporito. Omar, I should say, into Goff. Rebound pulled down by Saporito. Loose ball out of bounds, knocked away by the Titans, and it's the Cougars' ball. Schumacher into the front court. Over to Thomas. Thomas back up to Schumacher. Over to Studer. And Studer shuffles her feet, gets called for the travel. Ball back to the Titans, 1:10 left to play here in the third quarter. Next foul will put the Titans in the bonus. Ball up to Saporito. Good bounce pass into Goff. And Goff puts it in to retake the lead for the Titans. 18-16, under a minute to play in the third. Schumacher quickly up to Thomas. Thomas shuffles her feet and gets called for the travel. Into Saporito. Pass up ahead, Jones reads it and makes the steal. Jones out in transition, cuts it back to the middle, looks down low, ball deflected away by Omar. Saporito's there for the steal. Kip Saporito in the backcourt, trying to get across. Leah Thomas gets in there and ties her up, and it's a jump ball. Arrow goes to the Titans. Hill there to inbound. Ball all the way into Goff. Goff down low. Jones pulls down the rebound. 20 seconds remaining. Jones pushing middle. Looks inside for Pink. Pink across to Thomas, who pushes into the paint. And foul called on Bella Box on the floor. That's the third team foul on the Titans. 11 seconds remaining. Cougars will inbound underneath. Saporito actually left the court to get attended to. They're going to make a substitution. Number 31, Doherty in the game. Inbound to Jones at the elbow. She gets the shot, comes in, and commits the foul. And that is a loose ball foul. Titans are in the bonus. All right, they've taken away a foul. So no bonus shots. Titans throw it away. 7.4 on the clock. .4 on the official clock. Ball in. Studer just inside the three-point line. Off the rim into the corner. Thomas saves it. Chucks it at the rim. And that'll do it for the third quarter. Take a look back at the third quarter highlights. As we get set for the fourth quarter, Titans leading by 2. All right, Cougars start with the ball for the fourth quarter. Prater into Gibson. Gibson pass to Thomas into the corner. Thomas able to save it, but stolen away by Saporito. Thomas defending. Into Omar. Down low for Saporito. Tough shot. Jones pulls down the rebound and draws the foul on the backside. First foul of the quarter on the Titans. Jones brings it ahead. Over to Prater. One more to Jones. Oh, tough pass out of play. Back to the Titans. Titans have to inbound in the corner. Cougars are going to press. Ball inbounded to Saporito. Gibson's able to cut her off. Pass down low, Jones deflects, saved by the Titans. Hill's able to get over to it. Gibson tightly defending. Hill picks up a dribble, gets it to Saporito. Saporito turns down low to Omar. Back to Saporito from 12. Ball short, hits the net. Rebounded by Doherty. Shot by number 33, Stanley. Loose ball rebound out of bounds as Thomas got there, but was standing on the end line. And it's a throw in for the Titans underneath. Inbounded, deflected by Gibson, falls to Thomas. Thomas pushing down the left side. Leah Thomas wants to go all the way to the basket and off the glass for two, tied at 18. Titans inbound, Saporito all the way up to number 31, Doherty. And Doherty gets caught, well defended by Jones. Takes the extra step and turnover back to the Cougars. Prater inbounds to Gibson. Over to Thomas, quickly into Pink. Pink tries to find the cutting Gibson, but over the top to Hill. Thomas reaches in and pokes it away before Hill can go into her shot. Knocked out of play. Titans will have it underneath for the inbound. Hill finds Saporito all alone, and she nails the 10-footer to retake the lead, 20-18. Again, down low to Pink. Number 23, Omar on the ground, or on the floor, I should say, to get the jump ball. It's the Titans' arrow. Titans will have the inbound. Hill, picked up her dribble and didn't have a pass yet. Gets called for the travel. Lila Quaddy checking in the game for the Cougars. Addison Pink subbing out. Prater into Gibson. Over to Quaddy on the right wing, all the way up top to Prater. Prater picks up her dribble. Gets it to Thomas. Thomas at the elbow from 15. Too strong, fight for the rebound. Touched by Doherty, but knocked away by the Cougars, and it's a throw-in for the Titans. Cougars will stay in the diamond press. Thomas on the ball. Prater gets a hand to deflect and steals it. Back to Jones. Jones into the paint with some contact. Pulled down by Omar. Prater goes for the steal and gets the deflection, but gets called for the blocking foul. Titans inbounding, 3:30 left in the fourth. Titans with a 2-point lead. Ball into Saporito. Saporito across the timeline. Thomas tightly defending. Over to Omar, but Gibson's there to read it and knocks it out of play. It'll be a Titans inbound on the near side. Prater subbing out for Schumacher, and the Titans want a timeout. All right, back to the action. Inbounded to Omar. She's able to get it inside to Stanley. Off the glass, rebound pulled on by Jones. Poked away by Omar. Omar right into Jones' chest. Good defense. Quaddy tries to save it. Out of play in the corner for the Titans. Cougars have struggled on inbound defense. Ball off of Thomas's foot, called a kick, and Titans will get the inbound again. Inside to Goff. Foul called on the Cougars. Second foul of the quarter on the Cougars. Hill looking for an option. Deflected by Thomas. Number 33, Stanley back out to Saporito. Quaddy comes in and gets the steal. Quaddy looks ahead to Thomas. Thomas out in front to the basket, off the glass. Gibson there for the offensive rebound. Bounces out, Thomas there again. And the Cougars finish it, 20-20. Game is tied here in the fourth quarter. Omar loses the handle, gets called for the travel. And the ball back to the Cougars with a chance to take the lead. Game tied at 20. Thomas into Quaddy, back up to Jones. Jones swings it over to Schumacher. From 18, it's short. Jones gets a touch on it and knocked out by Jones. Back to the Titans. Cougars full court press has given the Titans some trouble. Omar into Saporito. Saporito picks up the dribble, chucks it over the top, all the way into number 33, Stanley. Stanley to the basket. Loses the handle and tries to find Goff underneath. Deflected away by Gibson. It will be the Titans' ball on the inbound play. Prater at the line to check in. She's subbing in for Schumacher. Hill inbounding for the Titans. Tries to get it into Omar, but right off of Omar's knee. And it's white ball. Delayed call there. You never, that's a point of instruction for the ref. You never chase the ball. Always make the call that someone else chase the ball. Jones over to Gibson on the right wing. Back up top to Jones. 2 minutes to play. Over to Prater on the near side. Into the short corner for Thomas. Thomas back it to Jones. Jones over to Gibson on the right side. Gibson drives in, draws the foul, and Gibson will go to the line for 2 free throws to take the lead. Gibson too strong on the first. Quaddy subbing out as Addison Pinkcheck back in the game for the Cougars. Off the backboard on the second, falls to Jones. Jones lost which way she was going, gets it back to Pink. Into Thomas. Thomas gets cut off, tries to fire it into Gibson, deflected away by the Titans. Hill with the ball, gets it to Saporito to slow it down. Thomas picks her up. Ball deflected. Jones with it, out ahead. Jones all the way to the basket. Can't get it to fall. Rebound pulled down by Omar. Loose ball goes to Jones. Omar reaches in to tie it up, and it's a jump ball. Cougars have the arrow. Cougars want a timeout. Three timeouts remaining for the Cougars, 2 for the Titans. Each team with 2 fouls here in the fourth quarter. The game-tying basket by the Cougars. Thomas missed the first one. Gibson got the rebound and couldn't get it to fall. Thomas got the next rebound and put it in to tie the game at 20. 1:25 left in the fourth quarter. Cougars with the ball underneath after the timeout. Gibson taking the inbound for the Cougars. Slow developing inbound play. Gibson takes it to the backcourt. Thomas is good to grab it in the backcourt. Gets it up to Jones. Jones from 12. Rebound by Pink and Prater. Fight for the ball and jump ball. It is the Titans' arrow. 1:13 on the clock. Cougars will stay in the full court press. Omar in to Saporito. Gets it over to Hill. Hill back to Omar. Omar up ahead to Stanley. Stanley tries to fire it in to Goff, but stolen away by Jones. Jones pushing all the way to the basket, off the glass and in. And the Cougars take the lead, 22-20, under a minute to play. And the Titans want a timeout. One timeout remaining for the Titans. Take a look at that on replay as Jones goes coast to coast. Gets through all 3 defenders to take the lead for the Cougars. Zooming in on the Cougars huddle. All right, after the timeout, it is the Titans' ball. They have the end line to run for the inbound. Cougars in the full court diamond press. Omart into Stanley. Up ahead to Saporito. Gibson goes for the steal. Saporito gets it up ahead to Goff. Knocked away. Pink steals but gets called for the travel. And the ball back to the Titans. Saporito into Hill. Hill has an edge all the way to the basket, and Hill puts it in to tie it back at 22. Prater pushing the pace, picks up the dribble, gets it to Jones. Deflected by Omart, back to Prater, and foul called on Omart. Third foul on the Titans. 29 seconds left. Ball back in, Prater to Thomas. Thomas spins, tries to get through traffic, loose ball. Goff reaching for it in the corner, gets it to Hill. Hill tries to break through, and the Titans coaches call the timeout. 14 seconds on the official clock, tied at 22. That's the last timeout for the Titans. Cougars have 3 remaining. Take a look at the game-tying basket by the Titans as Saporito gets it into Hill. Hill finds the lane all the way to the basket. Is there a ball screen there? Just nobody picked her up. Some confusion on who had who, and Hill takes it all the way in for the easy layup. All right, it's Titans ball, 14 seconds remaining here in the fourth quarter. Game tied at 22. For some reason, the refs are inbounding on the opposite side of where the timeout was called. Omart throws it in, gets it into Stanley. Stanley down low. Backside rebound by Omart. Can't get it to fall. Gibson pulls down the rebound. 4 seconds remaining. And timeout called by the Cougars. 2.4 on the clock. Omart, backside rebound, had the chance to win it. Ball rolls around the rim and falls out. Gibson pulls down the rebound, and the Cougars will get one last chance before overtime. With 2 seconds left, it's a pretty risky call for a timeout, but Gibson was under the basket. So now the Cougars will have to inbound. Not really a chance for a basket for them, but they could, the Titans could steal and create a basket of their own. Gibson there to inbound. Into Jones. Jones from 3/4 court, and traveling called with 1.4. Slow clock work by the table. And 1.4 is on the clock. Ball into Hill. That will do it for regulation. We're going to overtime. I'm not sure what the overtime period is for junior high. We'll wait to see. The overtime is an extension of the fourth quarter, so the fouls will not reset. Titans have 3 fouls. The Cougars have 2. They're putting 3 minutes on the overtime clock. And we will re-jump to start the overtime period. Extension of the fourth quarter, so you go the same direction that you were going in the fourth. Gibson there to tip with Stanley. Gibson wins it up to Jones. Jones to the basket and puts it in. Cougars take an early lead in overtime, 24-22. Remember, Titans have no timeouts left. Actually, they added a timeout for overtime. Jones gets the steal. Each team got an extra timeout for overtime, so the Cougars have 3 now and the Titans have 1. Jones slowing it up, gets it over to Thomas. Thomas back to Jones. Kicks it over to Prater from 17. Rims around. Jones comes in for the offensive rebound. Off the glass and in. And the Cougars lead by 4. Titans all the way to the basket. Stanley can't get it to fall. Jones pulls down the offensive rebound, looks up to Thomas. And Thomas passed behind her. Can't keep from traveling as she's had to go back to reach for the ball. And it's a turnover back to the Titans. 2:07 on the official clock. Into Saporito. Thomas tightly defending down low, dangerous pass to Omar and knocked out of play back to the Cougars. Omar was open, but man, that's a tough pass for Omar to handle down low over her head. Adeline Jones checking out as Addie Schumacher checks in the game for the Cougars. Prater inbounding. Titans now in a full court press. Omar over the ball. Prater gets it into Gibson. Gibson with the left-handed dribble down the line. Hill defending, nice crossover dribble by Gibson over to Schumacher. Schumacher back to Gibson, bad pass off of Gibson's leg. And turnover back to the Titans, they'll get it underneath. Oh, that should be underneath. Anything inside the three-point line is now underneath the basket. Hill inbounding for the Titans. Into Omar. Omar being tightly defended. Hill is able to come away with a loose ball. Over to Goff. Backside rebound by Stanley. And foul called on the shot. Stanley will go to the line to shoot 2 free throws. Third foul of the period for the Cougars. Gracie Stanley at the line to shoot 2. Good on the first three-point game, 26-23. Addison Pink and Lila Quaddy subbing out as Adeline Jones and, Addison Schumacher subbing out. Addison Pink subbing in. Stanley makes both free throws, quickly inbound by the Cougars. Prater up court, gets it to Jones and called for the shuffle step. Turnover back to the Titans with a 2-point lead. Hill finds Omar to inbound. Omar inside. Stanley trying to get through traffic, too strong. Jones gets the rebound. Jones pushing, Hill tightly defending. Jones all the way to the basket, high off the glass. Loose ball. Saporito pulls down the rebound. And jump ball called. Arrow goes to the Titans after the tip went to the Cougars. Saporito up to Omar. Omar with the baseball pass and over Goff's head. It's kind of an erratic decision there to make that pass. Turnover back to the Cougars. Gibson there to inbound. 1:02 left. Cougars leading by 2. Gibson into Thomas. Thomas has room up front, goes all the way to the paint. Gets it over to Jones. Rebound knocked away by the Cougars. And it's a inbound for the Titans. Cougars will stay in the press. Hill inbounding for the Titans. Hill all the way up to Omar. Jones tries to come to Omar to cut off the sideline, but Omar gets around, gets all the way to the basket, and draws the foul on Pink. Omar going to the line with a chance to tie it. Lila Quaddy subbing in the game. Actually, maybe that foul was called on Prater. Omar short on the first, so 47 seconds remaining. Cougars need a rebound here. Omar misses everything on the second. Cougars get it underneath. No time went off the clock on that one. Gibson inbounding, looking for an option. Baseball pass over the top to Quaddy. Quaddy has some room, takes the shot from the elbow. Rebound pulled down by Thomas. Thomas pulls it out. And timeout called by the Cougars. 38 seconds on the clock. Two timeouts remaining for the Cougars. Well, after struggling to get the video board live in the first half of the game, the girls decided to give us some extra action to get on video. 38 seconds on the clock. Cougars got the rebound and called the timeout. They'll inbound underneath the basket with a chance to extend the lead. Titans have 3 fouls, so they have a foul to give if they need to. Stack for the Cougars. Gibson inbounding. Into Jones. Jones from the block. Backside rebound by Gibson. She's trying to get an angle to put it back up. And foul called underneath. That's the 4th foul on the Titans. Next one will put him in the bonus. Gibson into Quaddy. Over to Thomas up the top. They don't need to take a shot. Quaddy, dangerous pass to Gibson. Gibson, nice hands to receive it. Jones all the way in. Goes into traffic and draws the foul as she flails up the shot. And Jones will go to the line for a chance to make it a 2-possession game. Jones good on the first, 27-24. Off the back rim, Gibson gets a touch on it, fight for the ball in the corner. And out of play, back to the Titans. Timeout by the Titans. .18 seconds on the clock here in the first overtime period. Cougars leading by 3. Titans have the inbound in the corner. Take a look at that second basket of overtime by Jones to extend the lead to 4 points. That's the largest lead of the game for some time. It's been a back and forth battle. First tied at 9, I believe, and then again at 11, again at 14, again at 18, again at 20, and at 22. All right, 18 seconds on the clock. Titans inbounding in the corner. Cougars picking up full court. Saporito with the ball. Thomas there defending. Thrown away to Quaddy. Quaddy over to Thomas. Thomas going to the basket. She pulls it up, gets it back to Jones. Titans have to foul. And finally they give him the foul. 5.4 on the clock. Jones will go to the line for 2 free throws. Jones icing her veins on the first, nails the free throw to make it a 2-possession game. 28-24, 5.4 on the clock. Second one is no good. Pink there for the rebound, puts it back off the bottom of the rim, goes again, pulled down by Omar, and that's the buzzer. Final score, 28-24. Cougars pull off the overtime upset victory. All right, we'll reset and send you through the game recap, followed by the junior high girls B game. The Titans actually play 8th grade and 7th grade separated, so it'll be 7th grade Columbus versus mostly 7th grade Cougars also. 5 minutes on the warm-up clock. We'll be back in about 4 minutes. Okay, the teams are on the court ready to start the junior high B game. Cougars going left to right in the first quarter. Nora Marin's there for the tip for the Cougars. Won by the Titans, number 12. That's Morgan Anderson. Kinsley Hess with the ball up top. Over to Brinley Meyer. Shot off the glass. Loose ball rebound pulled down by the Titans. That's number 2, Allie Walters, but she steps on the end line and a turnover back to the Cougars. Nora Marin's bringing it up the court for the Cougars, gets it to Schumacher. Over to Christian, back to Schumacher. To Christian at the short corner, tries to find Marin's in, but gets called for the travel first. Make that a bounce pass there rather than that flip pass. Kinley Hess taking her time, bringing it across the timeline. Able to make a spin move all the way to the basket. Too strong off the glass. Schumacher pulls down the long rebound. Hess comes in and steals it back. Almost crosses the half-court line. All the way back to the basket again. Deflected by Christian, Leona Christian, but Hess is able to get that one to fall. And the Titans take the 2-0 lead. Schumacher up ahead to Christian. Leona Christian makes the bounce pass that time, but stolen away by Meyer. Rebound pulled down by Marins. Marins tries to outlet. Stolen back by Hess. Ball on the ground. Meyer pulls it back. Gives it to Hess at the top. Hess from the free throw line wants the shot, but Christian's there to defend. Bounce pass in by Walters. And number 24, Lindy Smiley, gets the roll. Marin's all the way up to Aubrey. That's Aubrey Jensen. Schumacher over to Eggleston. Marin's inside to Christian. And stolen away by Hess. Kinsley Hess all the way to the basket. And puts it in off the glass for 2 points. Timeout by the Cougars. Cougars 3 consecutive possessions trying to force it inside, all resulting in turnovers. All right, after the timeout, Titans coming out in a 2-3 zone. Ball to Marins. Marins pass across to Schumacher. Schumacher being defended by Meyer. Gets it to Jensen. Jensen takes the shot from 12, gets her own rebound. Deflected again by Smiley, and Smiley pulls it down. Smiley across the timeline, picks up the dribble. Gets it into Meyer. Meyer throws it into the air. Loose ball, number 12, Anderson gets it. Wild shot by Smiley. Jensen pulls down the rebound, outlet to Schumacher. Schumacher slows it up. Carrying across, gets it to Marins. Marins, dangerous pass over to Jensen. Hess comes in and is able to steal the ball from Jensen into transition. Hess too strong on the shot off of Smiley's leg. She pulls it up, gets the shot. Fight for the rebound, jump ball, and arrow goes to the Cougars. Eggleston into Schumacher. Schumacher down the left side. Over to Jensen on the wing. Jensen from 15. Shot is short. Walters gets the loose ball. Marins comes in to tie her up. Ball falls to Smiley as she brings it up court. Over to Kinsley Hess. Into the key for Anderson. Anderson long on the shot as Marins pulls down the rebound. Marins in transition down the left side. Smiley's able to pick her up. Back to Eggleston up top. Over to Marins from 15, and she nails it. Cougars on the board, 6-2 the score. Hess dribbling it up the middle for the Titans. Marins defending. Hess again able to pivot. Shot from 15. Offense rebound by Smiley. Another rebound for the Titans. Loose ball. Schumacher's able to pull it away. Takes the wild pass right back to Smiley. Rebound by Jensen. Jensen finds the outlet to Schumacher. And Schumacher loses control of the ball back to the Titans. Meyer into Hess. Hess across the timeline over to number 2, Walters. Shot by Smiley is short, but Anderson on the backside gets the rebound. Another rebound by the Titans. Smiley able to keep it in for another rebound. Shot comes short and out of play on the Titans. Back to the Cougars. Timeout by the Titans. All right, after the timeout, Cougars inbounding. Schumacher bringing it down the left side. Gets the crossover dribble over to Marins. One more to Christian. Kicks it back up to Schumacher. Schumacher from 15. Long rebound goes to Marins. Marins looks in, gets it back to Schumacher. Back to Marins. Schumacher into Christian for the 10-footer. Long rebound goes to Schumacher, tries to find a outlet, stolen away by Hess. Hess out in transition and tried to make the crossover dribble, hit Marin's foot. Marins gets on the floor to get the jump ball with Smiley. And the arrow is the Titans. Titans down low into Meyer. Schumacher defending. Meyer picks up her dribble, finds Smiley at the key. Deflected away by the Titans and out of bounds on the end line. Cougars will get the ball. Ball into Schumacher across the timeline. Over to Jensen. Jensen pivots, gets it to Marins. Marins from 15. Schumacher in for the offensive rebound. Back out to Christian. Deflected by the Titans. Fight for the ball, 7 seconds remaining. And good hustle by Brindley Meyer, but can't keep it in play. Back to the Cougars, 4 seconds remaining here in the first quarter. Schumacher takes the long three off the glass and way too strong. That does it for the first quarter. Have a few highlights to show you for the first quarter. Cougars have the arrow to come out in the second quarter. Lila Quaddy and Sadie Studer checking in the game for the Cougars. Eggleston there to inbound, gets it into Quaddy. Quaddy to the free throw line to Marins. Back to Schumacher to Studer. From 15 off the side of the rim, and rebound pulled down by Meyer. Meyer all the way to the block. Kicks it to the corner for Smiley. Back to Meyer. Ball inside to Anderson. Nobody can control it. Back to Meyer. Meyer all the way to the basket, too strong off the glass. Loose ball back to Meyer. Studer there pulls down the rebound for the Cougars. Outlet to Marins. Marins out on the run. Loses it off her hip and back to the Titans. Kinsley Hess fumbles the ball and gets called for the travel. Back to the Cougars. Schumacher into the front court. Over to Quaddy. Quaddy to the free throw line, finds Studer. Studer from 12. Misses everything as Smiley pulls it down. Quaddy comes in and knocks it away. And it'll be a Titans throw in deep in the corner. Cougars dropping back on defense. Addie, you're in help. Help. Hess being tightly defended by Nora Marins. Shot by Meyer, rebound pulled down by Marins, and Marins takes the extra step, gets called for the travel. Ball into Hess. Hess turns, Marins does a nice job keeping in front of her. Over to Meyer on the wing, tightly defended by Quaddy. Marins goes for the steal. Hess to the basket and scores the bucket. Schumacher pushing. Over to Quaddy. Back to Schumacher. Ball falls to the ground and Quaddy's able to pick it up. Over to Studer. Studer pivoting, tied up, and traveling called on Studer. Ball into Hess. Quaddy read that all the way, gets the steal up to Marins, but steps on the sideline. And ball back to the Titans. Again into Hess. Marins tightly defending as Hess turns. Good crossover dribble. Quaddy steals again, and a lot of contact as Hess fights for it. Gets it to Meyer. Meyer all the way around. Backside for Walters. Shot is off the backside, and Schumacher pulls down the rebound. Outlet to Quaddy. Quaddy back to Schumacher. Over to Marins. Marins from 15. Off the front of the rim, and rebound pulled down by Hess. Marins tightly defending as Hess pushes through. Gets through the double, pulls up from just inside the free throw line, and is short. Schumacher pulls it down into transition. Schumacher ahead to Studer. Rebound pulled down by Meyer for the Titans. Meyer pushing as Quaddy's on her hip. And ball deflected away by Quaddy. Throw in for the Titans on the sideline. .235 left in the second quarter. Cougars want a timeout. Titans inbound. They're able to get it into Meyer. Foul called on Quaddy. Titans inbounding. Travel call on Meyer as she tried to reset when she saw she was under the basket. Cougars ball. Schumacher up ahead. Over to Quaddy. Back to Schumacher. Quaddy, good crossover from 18 off the glass. Rebound pulled down by Ness. Cougars able to stop the ball. Ness across, stolen away by Quaddy. Quaddy to the basket, off the glass, rims out. Studer there for the offensive rebound and pulled down by Ness. Quaddy reaches in and ties her up, and Cougars have the arrow. It says Cougars arrow. Okay, Cougars inbounding. 2 minutes left in the first half. Eggleston looking for an option. Into Marins in the paint. Marins draws the foul on the shot, and she'll go to the line to shoot 2 free throws. Marins off to the left on the first. Aubrey Jensen checking back in the game for the Cougars as Camille Eggleston checks out. Marins misses the second, but Stewart pulls down the rebound, takes the shot, fight for the rebound. Jensen there for it. Jensen trying to find an option, plays it into the paint. And Quaddy gets in there with Callie Rogers to tie it up. And the arrow is now the Titans. Hess bringing it into the front court. Quaddy defending. Hess turns. Kicks it back from the elbow to the top to Anderson. And foul called on the Cougars. Number 3, Isabella Crane, will go to the line for 2 free throws. Short on the first. Violation on the free throw as Crane crossed the line. And it's Cougars ball. Christian subbed in for Marins on that last opportunity. Jensen back to Schumacher. Bad pass stolen away by Meyer. Nice hustle by Quaddy to tie her up. And foul called on the play. Let's take a look at that on replay. Banks in the free throw. 9-2 now the score. Misses everything on the second. Back to the Cougars for the inbound. Schumacher gets it to Quaddy. Over to Jensen. Back to Schumacher. Jensen looks into Studer. Studer back out to Schumacher. And foul called as Schumacher tried to rip through. Be inbound underneath for the Cougars. Second team foul of the quarter on the Titans. Number 14, Meyer subbing out as Caprone checks in. Quaddy gets it into Schumacher. Over to Studer. Studer gets the baseline. Back to Schumacher. Off the back of the rim. Fight for the rebound. Studer comes in for it. Back to Quaddy. Up top to Schumacher. Over to Christian. Liliana Christian into the paint. Draws the contact. And not sure if they'll call that shooting or not. She didn't get the shot off. He says on the floor. Three fouls apiece now. Schumacher taking the inbound. Into Studer. Studer to the baseline. Pivots through. Pass back up to Christian. Christian into the paint. Erratic shot. Jensen there to retrieve it. Jensen pivots in. Trying to find an option. Gets it back to Schumacher. One more to Quaddy. Quaddy over to Christian. Christian into the paint. Stripped away. And foul called on the slap down. And 2 shots. Liliana Christian at the line for the second. Rims out on the second. Loose ball knocked away by the Titans. And the Cougars have the ball underneath. 10 seconds remaining here in the half. Quaddy looking for an option. Finds Studer from the elbow off the side of the backboard. I should say off the left side of the rim. And then off the backboard. And tied up. Cougars have the arrow. They'll get another chance. Just under 5 seconds remaining. Quaddy gets Jensen. Knocked away by Hess. Loose ball and whistle called at the buzzer. And they're going to say end of the quarter, halftime. All right, so not much transpiring in the second quarter. We'll send you through the first half recap and take an audio break here. right, we're back for the third quarter. Titans start with the ball. That's Kinsley Hess on the dribble, gets it over to Meyer. Smiley to Walters, back to Smiley in the corner. Anderson rises up, gets it to Hess. Hess into the paint off the bottom of the rim. Marins gets the rebound up to Jensen. Jensen through the middle, looking down low for Eggleston. Back over to Schumacher, blocked by Hess. And Hess out running. Marins, nice job picking her up. Over to Meyer. Meyer tries to get all the way to the basket. Off the bottom of the backboard, rebound pulled down by Anderson. And the putback is good, 11-2, Titans lead. Schumacher over to Jensen. Back to Schumacher at the top. One more pass to Marins. And Marins gets fouled by Meyer. First foul of the half of the quarter on the Titans. Eggleston gets it into Schumacher. Over to Christian. Ball entered into Marins. Marins turns and shoots, and off the glass, it's good. Nora Marins with her 4th points of the game. Both baskets are hers. Hess being tightly defended by Marins. Over to Smiley. To Meyer. Meyer gets right past Schumacher, gets it to Anderson at the free throw line. Hess turns and shoots. Rebound pulled down by Smiley. Ball's loose over into the corner. Walters and Marins fight for it, knocked out of play. And it's going to be Titans ball in the corner. Or underneath. Smiley in, deflected by Eggleston. Up top to Meyer. Nice pickup by Jensen. Meyer off the back of the glass. Jensen pulls down the rebound. Stripped away by Meyer. Jensen and Schumacher get in there to tie her up. And jump ball called. Arrow is the Cougars. Eggleston on the right wing. Hess knocks it away. Eggleston's able to get it back. Looking for an option, finds Marins. Over to Christian. Christian's looking to get baseline, picks it up. Back to Schumacher. Ball knocked away by the Titans. Will stay Cougars ball. Eggleston inbounding. Into Marins. Marins steps through, deflected away. Meyer out in the run. Loses the handle, able to get it back. Picks up her dribble back to Anderson. Off the front of the rim, Smiley and Jensen there to tie it up, and it's the Titans arrow on the jump ball. Studer checking in for the Cougars. Lily Christian checking out. Smiley trying to find an inbound. Gets it into Walters. Back to Hess. Nora Marins steals out in transition. Marins with the left, too strong. And Walters pulls down the rebound. Dangerous pass back to Hess. Nora Marins deflects. Hess able to get it back. Hess to the basket, step through, loses the handle, gets the ball back. Inside to Anderson. Anderson looking for the one more. Jensen gets a hand on it. Schumacher and Meyer there. Schumacher comes away with it, gets it up to Studer. Studer picks up the dribble and can't find a pass in time, gets called for the travel. Ball back to the Titans. Number 10, Callie Rogers, subbing in the game for the Titans. Number 14, Brindley Meyer will take a seat. Kinsley Hess over to Walters. Sadie Studer reads the pass and deflects it away. Knocked out of bounds, throw in for the inbound for the Titans. Ball down low to Anderson. Jensen defending into Walters. Loose ball. Marins and Schumacher get there. Marins picks it up into transition, looks for Studer. Studer to the basket. Light touch. Gets her own rebound. Pulled away by Hess. Hess out on the run. And Hess gets called for the travel. Studer, nice job stepping in front of her. Hess picked up the dribble, didn't have an option, and took the extra step. Hess face guarding on Studer for the inbound. Studer smartly backs up to give herself some space. Gets it into Schumacher. Schumacher up to Marins. Marins back to Studer into the paint. And Studer takes the extra. Oh, foul. I thought I heard travel. He said foul on the play on the Titans. Second foul of the quarter. Jensen inbounding into Marins. Marins with the shot and puts it in. Nora Marins, 6 points on the game, 11-6 the score. 2 minutes left in the third. Hess over to Crane. Ball deflected by the Cougars, and Crane couldn't handle the deflection. Out of play, back to the Cougars. Schumacher across the timeline, being defended by Hess. Gives it to Studer, and Hess gets called for the trip. Ball inbounded to Christian. Christian into the paint, goes for the shot. Jensen's there on the backside. Christian's able to save it. Jensen looking for an outlet, gets it to Schumacher. Schumacher chucks it back into traffic. And stolen away by the Titans. Baseball pass into the corner, three-point shot by number 10, Rogers. Offensive rebound by the Titans, and loose ball knocked away last by the Titans. Cougars ball on the restart. Hess goes for the steal. Schumacher able to hold on to it. Pass up to Marins. Into the corner for Christian. Christian gets tripped up. She goes down hard. Foul called on Smiley. That's the fourth foul of the quarter on the Titans. 57 seconds remaining. Eggleston checking back in as Jensen subs out. Ball into Schumacher. Schumacher puts the dribble down. Inside to Christian. She's got space. Too hard off the glass. Ball deflected by the Titans. Eggleston and Smiley on the ground. Jump ball called. And the Cougars have the arrow. 48 seconds left in the third quarter. Christian inbounding. Into Marins. Walters gets the loose ball, gets it over to Hess. Marins defending. Over to Walters, down low for Crane. Crane gets her own rebound, tries to find an angle to go back up, deflected by Christian. Schumacher's able to save it, gets it to Eggleston. Hess comes in and tears it away. Jump ball called. Ball back to the Titans. Foul called on Marins as she went for the steal. That's the first foul of the quarter on the Cougars. 19 seconds remaining. Titans with a chance to inbound underneath. Walters tries to get in, ball deflected. It's loose, and another jump ball. Christian in there. Whoops, lost our power again. Schumacher being defended by Hess, gets it over to Marins. Marins back up top to Studer. Studer to the elbow, kicks it to Marins. Ball tied up with 1.3 seconds remaining, and the Titans have the arrow. That's just enough to lose the possession for the fourth quarter. All right, fourth quarter set to go. Schumacher on the wing. Back to Quaddy. Quaddy to Schumacher at the elbow. Back up top to Marins. Marins to Eggleston on the left side. Finds Schumacher at the free throw line. Marins comes in for the rebound along with Studer, and the fight for the ball, knock it out of play. Back to the Titans. Stolen away by Quaddy. Travel called on the Cougars. Is that the right score? Jita, is that the right score? Is it 11-10? All right, some of my screen features are frozen up, so I'm having trouble seeing the game here. Schumacher gets it to Eggleston on the right wing, over to Marins in the corner. Marins back up top, stolen away by Hess. Schumacher steals it back, but hits the end line, and it's the Titans' ball. Schumacher ties her up. Schumacher and Walters on the tie-up. It's the Titans' ball. Ball all the way in to Anderson. Anderson from the elbow. Long rebound goes to Marins. Marins gets it to Studer. Studer out on the run. Anderson trailing. Studer all the way to the basket. Too strong off the glass. Smiley, Schumacher, Walter, Meyer, Studer, and Studer gets the steal. Some chaotic play. Studer with her left hand crosses over, gets it to Marins, and gets called for the travel. Of all the things to call, that wouldn't have been what I would have done. Hess on the dribble. She gets cut off by Schumacher. Foul called on, I don't even know what's going on now. Foul call on the Cougars. Ball into Walters. Schumacher gets a hand on it. Quaddy steals. Quaddy out in transition. From the elbow. Rebound pulled down by Meyer, and Quaddy goes in for the volleyball slap, gets called for the foul. Walters inbounds to Smiley. Smiley picks up her dribble, gets it back to Walters. Walter picks it up, and she hops and gets called for the travel. Back to the Cougars' 1-point game. Titans want a timeout. Each team now with 3 timeouts remaining. Anderson off to the right on the first. Too strong on the second. Myers able to pull it away. Pass into the middle. Quaddy steals. Quaddy out to take the lead. Off the glass and can't get it to fall. Meyer with the rebound out in transition herself. Eggleston gets a hand to deflect and out of control off of Meyer. Back to the Cougars. Quaddy over to Schumacher. Up to Marins. Marins from 15. Off the front of the rim. Rebound by Schumacher. Oh, it looked like Schumacher got fouled. Meyer pulls it up. Gets it to Anderson. Quaddy comes in with the tomahawk and ties him up. It's the Titans ball underneath after the jump ball. Walters takes the shot. Schumacher pulls down the rebound. Looks ahead for Marins. Marins to the basket. Too strong. Quaddy with the rebound and draws the foul. And Quaddy will go to the line to take the lead. The chance to take the lead. Lila Quaddy banks in the first shot to tie it at 11. A minute 20 left in regulation. Second one is too strong. Loose ball. Anderson's able to gather it. Gets it to Hess, but Marin steps in and looks like it was deflected off of Hess's knee. Cougars get the air. Cougars get the ball. Eggleston gets it into Quaddy. Over to Schumacher. Schumacher to Marins. Marins to Christian at the elbow. Anderson comes in and ties her up. For the jump ball, Cougars have the arrow. Eggleston inbounding. Bounce pass into Marins. Ball's loose. Eggleston gets there. And again, a tie up. Ball back to the Titans. A minute 2 left in regulation. Game tied at 11. Hess pivots, tries to get all the way to the basket, and puts it in to retake the lead, 13-11. Quaddy, dangerous pass across, stolen away by Meyer. Meyer too strong as Marins pulls down the rebound, goes for the crossover dribble, and draws the foul. That's the third team foul of the quarter on the Titans. And timeout called by the Cougars. Eggleston gets it into Marins. Marins goes baseline, pivots back to Schumacher. Ball deflected and stolen away by the Titans. Cougars need to foul. Foul called. All right, that's actually, I had three fouls, but I guess I gave the foul to the wrong team, so it's actually the 5th foul on the Cougars. Meyer banks in the free throw to take the 3-point lead. 21 seconds remaining. Second one's short. Quaddy gets the rebound, pushing down the left side. Quaddy looks inside, Hess steals. Hess trapped, and foul called on Schumacher. 9 seconds remaining. Hess will go to the line for 2 bonus free throws. Short on the first. Still a 1-possession game. 9 seconds remaining. Titans lead by 3. Titans take a timeout. All right, back on the restart will be Kinsley Hess shooting her 2nd free throw. A chance to make it a 2-possession game with a make. Cougars have 9 seconds if they can get the rebound to come down and hit a 3. Too strong on the second. Studer pulls down the rebound, running out to the right side. And the Cougars take a timeout with 4 seconds remaining. Cougars have 1 timeout remaining. All right, Eggleston inbounding for the Cougars. Schumacher, Marins, Quaddy, and Studer on the court. 4 seconds remaining. Eggleston looking for an option. Gets it into Studer. Studer turns, takes the shot, and 1 second on the clock. into Hess. That will do it. Final score, Titans 14, Cougars 11 in the B game. 7th grade for the Titans, B game for the Cougars. Thank you all for tuning in. I had a issue with my replay system there and lost the ability to grab the replays there in the second half. So no post-game recap.